guys, this is DemiTube on Stripe Okay, so this is already a super long video, so let's make this quick. I am super excited to tell you guys that this is a collab between myself and 4 other doll artists here on YouTube. Our theme was video games, so we all teamed up to make characters from video games we like. Once the videos are uploaded, I will post them in the description below, and maybe I'll make a playlist, just so you guys can find them. No prize to whoever guessed which video game I chose from, cause it's dead obvious. You may know that I like a lot of the Pokemon characters, but I especially have always loved how all the villains were, with all their extravagant plots for world domination or anything else that might cross their minds. And, well, it is true that I don't love all the villains equally, but I do love them nonetheless. I've always wanted to make them in doll form, but male dolls are so hard to come by, especially if you want to do crazy things with their hair, which I obviously do. So I decided that if I wanted to make them, I was going to have to gender swap them. It might not be the most satisfactory, but I knew that it was the safest route both for my wallet and for my repainting skills. I actually drew this concept for female Giovanni last year, but I never really went on with this. But with this collab, I finally have an excuse to make her. I've talked for long enough, let's get to it. So for this doll, I will be using the second-hand Holly O'Hare, and she did come with very bad quality hair, but then I tried brushing through it and things like that, and I then got carried away, and the hair is actually pretty nice now, so I tied it right here, and I'm going to be cutting as close to the roots as possible and as neatly as possible so that I'll be able to save this hair, and because it's really long, I think I'll be able to use it. So now the scalp is more or less clean, and I have this hank of hair that I can save for later and use for a future project, hopefully. Now I've carefully removed the head, and I will be removing the hair plugs using a needle nose plier thingy. Once I'm done with removing every single hair plug from the head, I will be taking some pure acetone and removing the factory paint. And I'm not exactly sure how this happened, but as you can see, she has this dent on her chin, and I'm really not sure where it came from or how it happened. I don't recall seeing this earlier, but anyways, I'm gonna be using some sandpaper and stuff like that and try to get rid of this dent. And so this is what it looks like after I sanded it. As you can see, the dents appear to be gone, and it's not perfect, but it is good enough for me. It's honestly better than having 2 gigantic dents in the doll's chin. So now I'm just going to put the head back onto the body. Now, I've already made the wig cap as usual, and I'm showing this to you right now because Giovanni has a very different wig cap than normal. As you can see, I want her to have a very pronounced widow's peak, so I decided to incorporate that into the wig cap so that I can put hair as necessary, and hopefully it's not going to look too awkward. The wig cap size is a little small, but most of the time I've realized that the visible hair plugs get covered up by the hair that gets glued on, so I'm thinking it's gonna be fine. Another thing that I'm trying that is rather new is I'm mixing these 4 different colors. They are brown, black, a dark gray, and also this sort of burgundy color to get more depth in her hairstyle. It's really something that I've never tried before, so I'm really anxious to see how it turns out. Another thing unique about her hair is that she has this little bump, I guess, at the top or back of her head. And to do that, I'm going to be rolling up a piece of tissue paper in slightly smaller than the shape that I want and sticking it to the back of her head so that I can sculpt the hair around it to get the ideal shape that I want. Now here's all of the hair just glued onto the wig cap, and it looks a little bit crazy right now, I know. Unfortunately, I did want to try to film the gluing process as much as possible, but it got quite complicated, as you can see. And the unfortunate part is the widow's peak cut at the front really didn't serve much purpose, so I'm gonna have to be incorporating that into her face up, much like how I did for Hau in the past. I'm gonna have to draw on a hairline so that it becomes a little bit more obvious. But I can do that, so it's not that big of a problem. Now I'm gonna try to style this on camera, and hopefully, because it's not a very complex hairstyle as far as styling goes, so hopefully I'll be able to do the rest of it on camera. So now I've sprayed her face and also parts of her body with Mr. Super Clear, so I'm going to be going in and giving her a new face. I do have some concept arts with me right now, so I'll be referencing those as I draw. Now I could just lie and tell you that I'm completely satisfied with how this looks, but yeah, the whole exposed hairline thing is still kind of an issue. I really did my best to try and hide it, but I mean, if you look close enough, it's still there. There's really not much I can do about it, so I'm gonna maybe try and fix it in the future with more hair wefts or something like that. But honestly, for now, she is just gonna be on display. So, yeah, it is a lot more hidden than it was before. So I think that's pretty good. And if you take this off, like I said, there she does have a painted slash drawn on hairline, like I said she was going to have. So, yeah. I'm just gonna finish up her face up now. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I already went through making the outfit, and Honestly, I find the sped up sewing parts of my videos quite boring, so I decided not to film that process. So I'm just gonna give you a better look at how the outfit is put together. I didn't sew sleeves onto the shirt to reduce the bulk when I put the jacket on it, but I did give it some faux inner white sleeves. And also, something that I did consider making a poll on Instagram is deciding between these two different tights, but in the end I just went for these black and gold ones because I wanted that subtle sort of glamorous look to her, if you get what I mean. And I also made these heels for her. Obviously they're unfinished. I decided I wanted to do something about her outfit on camera, so I decided to just finish these on camera. And right here, I don't know if the camera was catching it, but I did put some gloss sealant on her eyes and her lips, and her face up is just about done. I'm just going to be adding these gold nail glitters to her ears to make earrings, and I just felt like I should add gold somewhere to match her gold stockings, I guess, so that's where I'll be adding it. Another detail I don't know if the camera caught or not is her painted nails. My original concept art does have gloves, but I decided not to do those because there's quite a few other villains that I want to make that may need gloves more than she does, so I did not give her any. Okay, so that looks like everything, so I think it's time to put her together. Some things I did off camera are I tried to push some of the wefts here a little forward, and then I kind of glued them in place so that, again, it covers the exposed holes on her hairline. I curled these little thingies that came in front of her hair just to match her concept art a little better. I may go in and fix this one, it's kind of being weird. And I also added some curls to some very loose curls actually to some parts of her hair in the back as well, but not too much. And I also tried to iron her hair flat a little. Looking back, I did make the little thingy on the inside of the hair a little bit too big, I guess, but I don't really feel like going in and dissecting this entire wig because this was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. On second thought, once I got a good look at this doll afterwards, I really wanted to go back and fix this. I did film that process, so if it bothers you too, stay tuned. So I went back and took the wig apart a little bit at the top and pulled out the little bump it thingy, and then I just, since it was made out of tissue paper, I just opened it up at the bottom and tore out almost all of it, honestly, like 70% of it, and just the hair that was glued on top and a little bit of the layer of the tissue paper is left. Lesson learned, you don't want to make the bump it the actual size. You want it to be after it's covered in hair. You want it to be about 30% of how big you want it to be. So I know this looks absolutely ridiculous right now, but this is after I pulled apart the wig. It's not impossible to fix at all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be gluing the bump it a lot further up than it used to be. As you can see, it used to be right here. I'm gonna be gluing it up here and just trying to de-volumize it as much as possible so I don't get that whole cone head thing going on. Now, I think we're done.